Oye, esto es solo para los rumberos.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Raw Food Muscle. I'm your host Santiago, and today I'm going to be talking about a kind of a sensitive subject, but I think it's important to get this subject out there because I've been seeing kind of like some back and forth discussions about, whether you should be eating meat or whether you shouldn't be eating meat. I mean, and I'm basically talking about, being vegetarian and non-vegetarian, because, I've seen that, there's such a compassion out there for people who don't eat meat, and I completely understand it, and I completely respect the love that people have for the animals and not wanting to kill them and things like that. And at the same time, you have to look at it from, people who do eat meat. For example, as a teenager, people used to say, well, you should be a vegetarian. I would have never thought in my entire life I would have given up eating meat. I used to really enjoy my steaks, my burgers, and it was just part of my lifestyle. And of course, lifting weights for so many years has just, added on to that and made me want to pump more or eat more red meat. So, but you have to remember that to attack somebody and to say that what they're doing is wrong is kind of like, it's not the right, approach. I mean, it's not the right energy, and you have to understand that it's a choice. It's a choice that someone has to make or not make, in their life. If they want to choose to eat meat, then that's what they choose to do, and you can't force anyone to do that. So to get into a dispute about what they're doing is promoting A, B, and C and things like that, and I can understand that. But at the same time, by getting in this argument, the other person who likes to eat meat is feeling like they're being ridiculed or, being judged because of the way that they've always, lived their life. And I can understand how that would feel. No one wants to be told, well, the way you're living is wrong because you're doing this, and you're promoting all these chemicals to be putting into the planet because of all these meat plants, and not to mention all the harm that's being done to the animals. And I can understand that, but you have to remember that you have to kind of step back and look at it from a bigger point of view, and understanding that everyone has to make choices in their life. And if someone doesn't want to make a choice of eating meat or not eating meat, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, it's better if you're going to eat meat to try to eat some grass-fed cows or free-range chickens. At least you're not getting those chemicals pumped, the hormones pumped into you, and the animals aren't treated horribly like they have in these plants. And it's just a better choice. But again, everyone is going to have to make that choice, and no one's going to be forced into doing anything. For example, when I was heavy into drinking, people used to tell me you shouldn't be drinking, you shouldn't be doing that. And my mentality, I was like, I didn't like anybody telling me what to do. And so no one was going to tell me I wasn't going to have a drink. I was going to have my drink, and that was going to be that. And I was going to be like, you better get out of my face with that because I don't want to hear it. And you have to understand that that's the mentality that some people are in. You can't force people to change their lifestyle because of you feel that it's not the proper way to live. I mean, everyone has their own choice to live the way they want to live. So, and I understand how if someone is getting into these arguments, okay, you have to remember that what energy are you getting out of that? If you're sitting there, you're arguing with somebody, you're forcing them to see your way of living and making it their way of living, okay? And by forcing it to them and telling them that, well, you should be doing this because X, Y, Z, and you're wrong for doing that. It's just not. It's not. And all you're doing is promoting that person to be more upset and creating more separation. Because then you're going to have a meat eater here who says, I don't like those vegans because they're so nasty and they're always ridiculing me or judging me. And it's just not the right kind of energy. So what are you getting out of that discussion when you're pouring that kind of anger or that kind of judgment into someone who's eating meat? So I think you have to, for me anyway, I think it's better to be more, compassionate and more understanding. And, if you want to, encourage someone to stop eating meat, just tell them the healthy benefits of at least the better choices of eating meat, And I understand that, there's a lot of love out there for the animals. You don't want any killing whatsoever. And I understand how you can get really emotional. And, so when you confront it with somebody who's eating meat and who refuses to give it away, I can understand how, those emotions can come in, but you have to learn to let it go. You can't force people to live, a certain way. You either, live by example, and then that's pretty much it. You have to just kind of like, say your piece, but try to say it in a non-angry, non-judgmental way, because, like I said, you're creating a separation of people who, enjoy eating their meat. And, people aren't going to be, not everyone's going to give it up. I mean, that's just the fact. It's like not everyone's going to give up drinking. Not everyone's going to give up, doing crack or whatever, because you can't force people to make a choice that they're not willing to make. And then that's just the way it is. And if they choose to put, a whole bunch of liquor in their body for the rest of their life, then so be it. I mean, I know guys who live, well in their 80s and 90s, they're still drinking. There's no way I could have done that, but that's just the way it is. And I think it's just one of those things that, I think it was just meant to happen. I think I was meant to have these signs and these things that happened in my body was going to be deteriorating at an earlier stage in my life, where others, they can go along a period of life putting all those toxicities into their body. And that's just getting into a whole other discussion about the human spirit, and how, our bodies can take in all this toxic waste and these chemicals and still survive for a long period of time. And so, to get into an argument about, XYZ is the right kind of food because, you're promoting, a negative lifestyle is, it's just not the right, approach in my point of view. And again, I want to say again, I understand both points of view. I understand how, you have compassion for the animals, but at the same time, don't gear that compassion towards anger for somebody who does. Okay, so it's just my point of view, and I think, when I see these kind of arguments going back and forth, you're just creating anger. And so what are you getting out of that? You have to kind of ask yourself that question. If you want to encourage somebody to not eat meat, okay, or not smoke anymore, or stop drinking, is there a positive way to do it, or you want to put anger in it all the time and judgmental energy in it all the time to make them feel like, belittled, and no one wants to feel belittled, no one wants to feel disrespected, no one wants to feel, judged as if they're, living a life of, of wrong, and it's just not the right type of mentality to be putting out there, when you're discussing these things back and forth, so, for all you vegans out there, I completely understand and respect, how you feel for life and the animals, but, I just want to say that, just try to be careful with how you approach the subject. And for all, you meat eaters out there, try to be more understanding to how they're looking at it. And don't feel like, you have to be forced to do something. If you don't want to do it, don't do it, Live your life the way you truly want to live it, and just be more of a happy person. Alright, you guys, that's it. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I want to just end this by saying, for everyone to just, love and respect each other as best you can, and just give that other person their right to live their life the way they want to live it, with no judgments. I think it's important to understand that, and not give your energy into, anger, you know, and just it really drains you. So just try to remember that. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to send my love and affection for everybody out there who's doing so much to support my channel. I really appreciate it. And that's it. I will see you guys next time. And I hope you guys all enjoy this beautiful, beautiful weekend. And just go out and just have fun, enjoy life, and just be happy, okay? So I'll see you guys next time on the Raw Food Muscle.